A Venn diagram begins with a box called our universal set, which is denoted by the symbol epsilon. The circles inside the universal set, A, B, and C, are used to group the items within the universal set. In our case, each set represents the number of people who like certain films, adventure, biographical, or comedy. And so we'll name set A for adventure, set B for biographical, and set C for comedy. We are told that 100 people are asked, so that's the universal set, and we can write that next to the universal set 100 in brackets to keep us informed. Now we need the data. In our data, we are told that there are 20 who like adventure and biographical, 9 who like biographical and comedy, 16 like adventure and comedy but not biographical, 41 like adventure, 50 like comedy, 25 like biographical but not adventure and comedy, and 2 do not like any of these films. We know that there are 100 people in our universal set altogether. And now I want you to notice that there are 8 regions in this Venn diagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last region is the one which is outside the sets. Those are the people that do not like any of these films. I've just named 8 regions. This is not what these are not the numbers that go into these regions. So firstly, I'll want to name those regions. I'll name them as A, B, C. Then there is a region here, D, E, F. And because this is right in the middle, I will name it X for no particular reason. The last region, number 8, which is the one where people do not like any of these films, is obviously given already here, and I can enter that number straight away in here and say that it is 2. First of all, I want to remind you that in a 2-set situations, the intersection of A and B sets, the adventure and the biographical, is right here. That means that it consists of region D plus X. And we know that 20 people like adventure and biographical, so we can tick that off. And we can now write, so 20 is equal to D plus X. So now we know what D is. D is actually 20 minus X. So we can substitute D for 20 minus X. Similarly, if 9 people like biographical and comedy films, then we could write the same thing and say that 9 is equal to, or F plus X. And that will mean that F is equal to 9 minus X. And we can substitute F now for 9 minus X. So we can tick this off too. When we get to that third statement where 16 like adventure and comedy, but they do not like biographical film, well, in this case, I'm going to give you more detail on each of the segments. So segment A is adventure only. Segment B, just this bit here, is biographical only. Segment C is going to be comedy only. The middle section is people who watch all 3 films, adventure, biographical, and comedy. The D segment tells us that people like adventure, biographical only, but not comedy. In the F section, biographical, comedy, but not adventure. And lastly, the E segment tells us that people watch adventure, comedy, but not biographical. I'm going to see if I can squeeze that page together. Now, we see that 16, like adventure and comedy, but not the biographical. This describes section E here, adventure comedy, but not biographical. So we can delete or insert 16 into section E, as E is equal to 16. Now we have 41 who like adventure. This means that all these segments A, D, and X plus 16 form the adventure set A. And in that case, 41 is equal to 16 plus A plus A plus D plus X. Now we know that D is 20 minus X, so we can say 41 minus 16 is 25, is equal to A plus 20 minus X plus X, and those X's cancel out, and we get 25 is equal to A plus 20, and so A is equal to 5. So we can now write 5 here for A, and we can substitute 5 up here as well. Now similarly, we can do the same thing for the 50 people who like comedy. So since we know that 50 like comedy, we could write 50 is equal to 16 plus C plus 9 minus X plus X. And again, X's cancel out. So we'll have 50 is equal to 25 plus C, which means that C must equal to 25. So I'll insert 25 into this C segment, and the same thing goes for this particular C segment too. Well, I have A, I have C, I have all the other numbers except I don't have B. But that's not a problem because I've got in my data that 25 like biographical but not adventure and comedy. That's precisely what B is, biographical only, not adventure, not comedy. And now my universal set looks like this. I only need to find out what X is. I know that in my universal set I have 100 people. So I can now add all this together, and this must equal to 100. 100. And so we can write 100 is equal to, don't forget that we've got 2 who do not like any movies at all, so we need to include that too, plus all the other segments, 5, 25, 25, 16, and then 20 minus X, 9 minus X, and X. We can see that this X is going to cancel out this X, so we can simplify everything. So in the end, our X value is going to be equal to 2. And therefore our whole Venn diagram should look like this. 2 in here as well, and 20 minus 2 means that this is going to be 18. We had A is equal to 5, E is equal to 16, and C is equal to 25, F is equal to 9 minus 2, which is 7, and B is 25. And we had 100 people in the universal set. From this information, you could answer any question using this Venn diagram.